What's up, Bills Mafia? Ryan Thomas here for the Buffalo Bills pregame show. I'm going to get you prepared, ready, revved, and ready to go for tonight's Monday Night Football matchup between the Buffalo Bills, of course, and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is probably one of the best games that the National Football League has offered to any fan, whether you're a Bills fan, Bengals fan, or not. The stakes for this one extremely high. The stakes for this one, the Bills 12-3, the Bengals nipping at their heels at 11-4. The AFC, we know that the Kansas City Chiefs have a 13-3 record. So for the Buffalo Bills to maintain that spot as the number one seed in the AFC, we got to do what we do best. Tonight, we got to play Buffalo Bills football. And what are some of the keys to victory for tonight's game, I should say? I'll be going over that and getting to your comments as well as I get you prepared for kickoff. I love doing these shows, whether it's the pregame show or the postgame show, to get you guys, fired up for this game. So the stage is what it is. Bills, Bengals, we got two really good teams going up against one another, but this is a quarterback-driven league. Make no mistake about it. It is Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow, and I'm really excited for this matchup. There are three quarterbacks in the National Football League, and we got two of them in this game that are two of the best out of the three. Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. You can put them in any order. Maybe I'm a little bit biased putting Allen number one out of those three. Maybe not, but Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow, those are the three quarterbacks. And the fact that we have never seen a matchup between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow until tonight, I think is going to be what produces some fireworks in this game. When I look at this game and I look at this matchup and I look at these two quarterbacks in particular, these guys are changing the game. The way they play the quarterback position, the way Josh Allen can extend plays, the way Josh Allen can be elusive with his size, 6'5", 245 pounds. And Joe Burrow, the collegiate career speaks for itself. What he did at LSU, legendary. Nobody's had a collegiate career quite like it. Arguably could have had the greatest single season in college football history. And to go to the Super Bowl in his second season as an NFL quarterback, in a season in which he's coming off of a horrible knee injury his rookie year, coming back, leads the Bengals to a Super Bowl. That says a lot. That speaks volumes, I should say, about Joe Burrow's leadership and his ability to lead the Bengals, to be a leader as a quarterback on the field and off the field. I can't say enough good things about these two guys. I think they're two of the best quarterbacks the NFL has to offer. And this show is going to be a show. Both of these guys I expect to do very well tonight, stat-wise. But looking at how I feel the Buffalo Bills can win this game and looking at the keys to victory, as I like to call it on the show, first and foremost, this is the toughest matchup for the Buffalo Bills all season long, and I say it for this one reason. Not only do the Cincinnati Bengals have Joe Burrow, but the Cincinnati Bengals have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. They have a lot of weapons, to put it mildly, on this offense. Joe Mixon has been banged up. Their run game has been shoddy. Their offensive line has had its hiccups throughout the season, as well as last season, even in their run to a Super Bowl berth. But the Bills have to be solid in coverage. Pass coverage has to be top-notch, whether it's the middle of the field, whether it's the sidelines. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are probably, for my money, ranked with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as one of the best 1-2 punches that any team has to offer. Jamar Chase, best deep threat. T. Higgins, one of the better possession receivers. So Trey White, this is a big night for Trey White. He's back. He's been in the lineup. He's been playing really well. He's been looking really good as they've worked him into the defense a little bit more week after week after week. His snap count getting higher and higher each and every week. But this is the toughest test for Trey White. This is the toughest test for Kaiir Elam. This is the toughest test for the Buffalo Bills secondary. And a key active to discuss in this one is the status of Jordan Poyer. And thankfully, as of right now, I haven't heard anything other than the fact that Jordan Poyer will be out there. The Bills do have 7 players that are inactive. Xavier Rhodes, cornerback, Dean Marlowe, the safety, Balin Spector, the linebacker, Ike Butker, the offensive lineman, Justin Murray, the offensive lineman, and Tommy Sweeney at tight end, as well as Alec Anderson. Safety Jordan Poyer is active in this one after being listed as questionable with a knee injury leading up to this game. So solid in coverage is a key to victory. Solid in coverage, whether they're playing man, whether they're playing zone. How Zach Taylor attacks Leslie Frazier's defense, I think, is going to be one of the key storylines of this game. How the Buffalo Bills attack the supporting cast that Joe Burrow has, that Cincinnati's accumulated over the course of the last year or so, is a key to victory for Buffalo. How they attack, how they are manning the man coverage, whether it's man or zone, Elam, White, Poyer. I'm looking at you guys tonight. Big night for these guys. They have to be on their P's and Q's. A balanced attack offensively. I've talked about it all season long. For weeks we didn't see it, and these last few weeks we have seen it. We've seen James Cook run for over 100 yards in a game. We've seen Devin Singletary run for over 100 yards in a game, total yards in a game. We saw them both do it in the same game against the Chicago Bears. So I want to see more of that. I want to see the Bills really show a balanced offensive attack by running the football, working the clock, getting the ball into the playmakers' hands, whether it's Singletary, Cook, Diggs, Knox, Davis. Obviously, now you have the return of Cole Beasley thrown into the mix as well. I do think that this offense has a lot of untapped potential that we've continued to see these last few weeks. And James Cook and Devin Singletary, I think, could be a real big key to victory, maybe the biggest key to victory for the Buffalo Bills. If we can get them on the stat sheet, get them rolling, that's a key to victory for sure. Keeping Joe Burrow and that Cincinnati Bengals offense off the field and draining that clock, working the clock, and getting these guys and James Cook and Devin Singletary the touches that they deserve, I think is crucial for this game. My last key to victory for this one, it's 3 words. It's the same word 3 times. It's pressure, pressure, pressure. Joe Burrow has been behind one of the worst offensive lines of the last 2 years. The Bengals offensive line this year much better than last, I will say that, but not by much. And Buffalo's defensive line, without Von Miller, we've seen guys step up, and they've stepped up in a real big way. Gregory Rousseau being one of them. Ed Oliver is having one of the best seasons, maybe the best season in his entire career. We need to see those guys continue this process of their evolution as the future, present and the future of this Buffalo Bills front four. Run stuffing is important tonight. I feel like a lot of teams are trying to take advantage of the Buffalo Bills in the run stuffing department, run defense department. But more than anything, plugging that middle, not allowing Joe Burrow to step up into the pocket and make a throw down the sideline to T. Higgins or a deep ball to one of his best buddies, Jamar Chase. Pressuring Joe Burrow, almost forcing Joe Burrow to play like Josh Allen or forcing Joe Burrow to play like Pat Mahomes, which I don't think that's Joe Burrow's skill set. I think could greatly improve the chances of the Buffalo Bills winning this one. Before I get to the score prediction, I want to get to your comments. Michael Gerace, fire those score predictions at me as well. Michael Gerace says, let's go. Bills win 35-24. Give me your keys to victory as well as your score predictions in this one before I get to mine. But 35-24 is how Mike Gerace sees it going down. We're almost on the same page, Mike. We're almost on the same page. I'll get you my score prediction momentarily, and I want to allow people to give me their take on the game. What are your keys to victory for this one? Obviously, we knew that there was a little bit of a full injury report over the course of this week. Some of it had us feeling a little bit funky, to say the least, and that meant, Stephon Diggs and the sickness that he had. That meant Dawson Knox and his hip. And, of course, Boogie Basham and his calf. And, of course, Josh Allen and the right elbow that has been a lingering injury for Josh Allen this season. But Obviously, all those guys are good to go. They're going to be playing. They're going to be out there wearing the Buffalo Bills red, white, and blue. Kevin Johnston says 33-20 Bills. Ismail Valentin says 38-17. And he also throws down the proclamation that the Bills defense wins this game. I like that. I like that very much. So let's get into my score prediction. Now, on the surface, this matchup is going to be, pun intended, billed as Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow. That's the matchup. That's the marquee, header. Buffalo Bills versus Cincinnati Bengals. Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow. That's the title of the movie. But it doesn't mean there'll be a little bit of a plot point twist or moments where we say the plot thickens. And I think those moments will be due in large part to the fact that the Buffalo Bills defense has to be on their P's and Q's in this one in order for the Bills to get the victory, in order for the Bills to win and win in dominant fashion. And this win, if the Bills pull it off, this win does cement their status as what it was prior to the season starting, to where the Buffalo Bills were listed as the Super Bowl favorite, the AFC cream of the crop. If the Bills win this game convincingly and win this game in the form and fashion that I know they can and that you know that they can, they belong in that conversation that they were attached to prior to the season beginning. And I think that's been a question that hasn't been answered yet. Despite the Bills being 12-3, owning that number one seed, if they do win this one, they're 13-3, as well as the Chiefs. They own that tiebreaker. But despite all that, there has been moments this year where people could look at the Bills and say, are they that number one seed? Are they that team to beat? They win tonight in the form and fashion that I think that they can. I think they are listed as such. So I have stat predictions that I posted on my YouTube channel in a YouTube short, shameless, selfless plug, I guess you could say, where you guys can subscribe to me on YouTube, the Thomas Takes Sports Podcast, where I put out my stat predictions. I think Josh Allen is going to throw for over 300 yards in this one. I think he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns. I think he will have an interception because we've seen Josh Allen, when he's throwing the ball more than 40 times a game, those turnovers are going to happen. And when you're playing a team like Cincinnati, whose defense is very underrated, I'd say, we'll just throw that 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 whoopsie throw that we don't know what that's going to lead to. James Cook, as well as Devin Singletary, could run. One of those guys could run for over 100 yards. The other one could have over 100 total yards. Stephon Diggs needs to be added into this offense more than he has been. And that is crazy for me to say it because for weeks on end we heard from all the local radio shows and a lot of the sports beat writers of the Buffalo Bills, and they're all right saying the fact that Stephon Diggs has been really the only threat wide receiver wise, pass catching wise, that the Bills have had to offer. Gabe Davis has taken a step back, unfortunately. Dawson Knox, unfortunately, has not been featured in the offense as much as we would like to see him featured in this offense. But no targets for Stephon Diggs in the first half of that game against the Chicago Bears. That has to change. Josh Allen has to get the ball in the hands of Stephon Diggs. So I'm predicting a big night from Stephon Diggs, predicting 10 catches, over 100 yards, and a touchdown for good measure. And if that happens, that means Josh has got to throw 2 other touchdowns to 2 other guys. If I predict that Allen has 3 touchdowns, 1 of them to Diggs, he's got to throw 2 to 2 other people. Going Dawson Knox, and I'm firing in James Cook with a receiving touchdown in this game. Devin Singletary with a rushing. So that means I got the Bills scoring 28 offensive points, 1 rushing touchdown from Singletary, 3 passing touchdowns from, that's 28 points, but I'm going to add in a little bit of a curveball, throw in a little bit of a curveball for you. I got the Bills winning this one 35-31. I do see this game producing a defensive touchdown, interception return for a touchdown, or a fumble recovery for a touchdown. I do see that taking place. Joe Burrow has not faced the wrath of an opponent quite like Buffalo. KC has firepower. Indeed, they're red hot when they want to be, but No team is as good offensively as well as defensively in the AFC on paper than the Buffalo Bills. And I truly feel the fact that I watched a metric today, and it was widely reported, that 53% of the fans in attendance tonight are Bills Mafia. 70% of the revenue that's been generated from this game in Cincinnati is reportedly by Bills fans. Bills fans going down to Cincinnati, spending their hard-earned dollar to support and to make this game a big event. I think Joe Burrow is going to look in the stands in moments where he's expecting Bengals fans to be cheering loud, and he's going to see some blue jerseys. He's going to see some red jerseys. He's going to see some white Buffalo Bills jerseys and think, am I playing in Cincinnati or am I playing in Orchard Park? I think this home field advantage for the Cincinnati Bengals is going to be zero to the Bengals, and I think we're going to see the Bills Mafia and the Buffalo Bills take this one over. And with that, I have the Bills winning this one 35-31. I hope you guys enjoy the show. Hope you guys look forward to the game tonight. Obviously, I think this is the best game that the NFL has given us. I know that the Chiefs and the Bills are the rivalry, that everybody's talking about. But don't forget about these Cincinnati Bengals. They're a very good team. They got a lot to play for tonight, and they're playing in front of their quote-unquote home fans. So with that, I'm getting the TV on. You guys turn on your television as well. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow to do my post-game recap show. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Go Bills.